Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the table. This is Tony from Who's Sitting at Your Table. And I have a special guest today. Before we get into all that, I wanted to check in. Our guest is Wafa'a, and she is an incredible mother, incredible teaching of her business, as well as our kids knew each other. And so here we are at the table. And before we kick it off and I do a proper introduction, Wafa'a, how's your day been so far?
Oh, great. Thank you, Tony, for the opportunity. I love being in, of course.
I'd love to have you at the table. Thank you. And I know this week has been an incredible week for me. Cybersecurity is my real job outside of the podcast. The podcast is definitely my passion for women supporting women. And this is our year end quarter. And so it gets really crazy around this time. Fun, pressure, and good business being had. Of course, August is new start of the year. So it's kind of a little different when people look at August as the beginning of the year. Fiscal 27, we're already starting in August. So it's been a little hectic, crazy, but fun pressure. How's your week been?
Um,
Anything special going on?
I'm glad you enjoy what you're doing. It's very important. It gives us the motive to continue. Yes, the week, one of the things that's happening is we are rejoining the table again. Do you remember the first table we sat together on?
Oh my gosh. Please remind me. Now I'm feeling I don't remember was the first table we sat at. Was it related to like our kids and obviously probably our kids,
It's
correct?
a pizza table where Josh,
Oh,
yeah, and
that's right.
it came with.
All right. Yes, that's right. By the way, her son Basil and my son are good friends and they spend a lot of time together and they grew up through elementary school.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I love it. Well, let's kick off an introduction. I just wanted to let everybody know that today's guest is somebody I've known through our kids, and I wanted people to hear your story. You deserve a seat at the table. Your journey is you came to us from a different continent, your career and culture. You came from the UAE, from Egypt to California, and from teaching engineering students to helping others on the healing journey. So today we're talking about motherhood, faith, and resilience, reinvention, and why the best chapters of our lives may still be ahead of us. So, in this particular kickoff, I want to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind, Wafe. When you look back at the little girl growing up in the UAE, what qualities did you see in yourself that you still have presently as a woman today?
Oh, well, that's a fun question. Well, when I look at myself back then, as I see a girl who is curious, emotional, and full of dreams, and wanted to know and understand people around her and help others. And for some reason, I feel like these qualities stayed and nested in me till now. I'm still very deeply wired to help people and really look for a purpose and help them.
Those are beautiful qualities, by the way, Wafe. I think, you know, how they say children, they have no boundaries and they're very open. And, what you describe are qualities that young kids have. And you kind of kept those great qualities with you. And as adults, sometimes we lose that, right? And we get so busy in our lives that we don't think like that. So kudos to you for keeping those kind of qualities within yourself. What part of the Middle Eastern culture have you felt shaped you and the most that continues to influence your life today? Like, what do you have from back then that you keep
Yeah,
in
I
your
feel
life?
culture plays a huge role in actually shaping the values around you. And the good about Cali that it is like a mixing pot. You see too many diversities that bring a lot and a lot to the table and to our lives. Same here. The Middle Eastern culture really is very rich, and it taught me that family is the center core of everything: respect, hospitality, and community culture. We care about neighbors. We care about each single one around. We treat them as family. That's why you see sometimes family for us, one of the language of love that we use is cooking. And it's actually at the same time. So you see the family won't cook in only for themselves. They always make extra because there's someone unexpected will visit just to check on you or ask for a favor or ask for a help. If not, then you have the neighbors. Then this is a way also to connect and keep communicating with neighbors. So by all means, I see that it's the way I still live till now. and I taught it and passed it to my kids. So they know something except to sharing also with others.
I love that. I just moved to a new community and I didn't really get to know a lot of my neighbors. And it's interesting because I want to know my neighbors. One, it's like another community, almost like another family around you, right? You build, I like to call it home, right? Your home is a home, family with your greater side of your family, not just your immediate family, is home. People that you feel connected to, friends, and even your community around you becomes a home, right? Even in my career, I have a work family, right? I believe in that type of process and feeling and thoughts. What you put out comes back to you. I really think that's beautiful. And then when you reference it from food, food is God, it's good for the soul, right? It's good to it makes you feel good, and I love that you guys then you'll cook extra. You just never know who's gonna come around that you want to provide some, you know, food or and to me, like a warm hug, like welcoming them in and ensuring them that they're part of your family, right? That's beautiful. And again, goes back to my thought process of what you put out comes back to you, and not in a selfish way. You do it without even expecting anything back. But I believe it's the vibration we put out there it comes back to us tenfold.
Is exactly multiplies, which is great. I believe that that too deeply.
Yeah, I love that. So now let's talk about your parents because you talked about you want to make an example of your kids. What lessons do you feel that your parents still guide you today from what they've given you?
I love my parents for who they are. We always like tend to grow up really criticizing our parents, wants more freedom and ask for a lot of stuff. But deeply, when you grow and raised and you feel like you're wise, you notice that personally, I see that my parents really, the core of everything they have done to us was love. So pure love, it is the core of everything. When you share it with sincerity and commitment, then these qualities would build and shape everything around you. So to stay strong, never to lose hope, all these will come with unconditional love. So if you put love and you put structure to it, then you can pass anything. Also being patient and honest, this is also a quality, a golden quality.
The other thing I wanted to ask you because we were on the topic of love. When you sent me information about you and you shared some insight around love, I wanted to ask you a question around that. You mentioned falling in love changed the direction of your entire story. Could you tell us about that chapter?
Definitely. So everyone used to ask me, what brought you to California? You know, this is always a common question when they see someone with accent or someone look different. So I always tell them I fell in love. You know, I was young. I thought that I would never leave Egypt because Egypt is like piece of my heart. And I
Mhm.
then I grew and I had lots of all my challenges or all my final polish was over there. So when you fall in love, love is like they say, love is blind and it comes as a flu. You don't expect it, and then it changes your life. But stories not always end up with like a Disneyland or a fairy stories. 6 years ago, the love that love stayed for a while. I was in a relationship for 20 years, and that ended. When it ended with pain. And
Mm.
after a year or two of the end of the relationship, I made a closure. And with that closure, I wrote a letter that I still keep. And I used to go back to it every now and then. You made me pulled it when you sent me the questions. So
Yeah,
I,
yes.
you may, I read it so I won't forget any part. And I will use your place or your podcast to send it a message for a young girl that I really, really love her. And she's
Oh,
very time. So hopefully she would listen to this and learn something. I hope and I pray for.
yes, yes.
May,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
may I read it?
That's yes, please. That's absolutely. Go for it.
So falling in love was a big turning point in my life. It changed my plans and took me in a direction I never expected. At that time, I thought love was a destination, but later I learned that sometimes love is only a door that takes you to your real journey. The love brought me to new life, new country, new responsibility, a new version of myself. And even though it did not end the way I once dreamed, it shaped me in a very deep way. It taught me that love is not just beautiful beginning. Love is not only attraction, attention, or sweet words. Those things are nice, but they are a decoration. And many people spend their lives looking for the decoration of love while forgetting the foundation. The real foundation is kindness, safety, respect, emotional protection, open communication, and appreciation of what you contribute to the relationship. Even it may look little, but grows when you open dialogue rather than looking into staying a shallow to keep image of perfect lover. A person chooses you when life is easy, but also when life becomes heavy on them. When that love ended, it left me with pain. Yes, but it also left me with a wisdom. It taught me what love marriage should be and also what they should never be. It taught me that love should not make a woman lose herself. Real love should give her space to breathe, grow, become more of who God creates her to be. The lesson become part of my way I raise my children. I wanted them to understand that love is not control, not resilience, not fear, and not just staying together for an image. Love is mercy. Love is respect. Love is feeling safe in someone's presence. Then love will come to test you for you to prove if you are true lover or not. By many trials and many situations to prove that you truly love your partner. See if you are real one and will choose to keep the promise of you love that person or not. And maybe that's why today, when I help others, I do not only see their pain from outside. I understand that sometimes deepest wounds come from the places where we expected love the most. So yes, the love that died still left me alive and still live something alive in me. Strength, compassion, and deeper meaning of what true love should feel like. And by the way, this is what I said in my daughter's wedding party.
Oh. Oh, that's great. I think that's really beautiful. I love that you wrote that letter to yourself. You're actually sort of reminding yourself and talking to your younger self, and then you're also sharing it with other women because it's a story and the wisdom that you had gotten from that experience. There was a segment that my co host Cheese and I did. And what we did was we wrote a letter to our 20 something self.
Oh,
And it made us dig deep to go back in those times. And she wrote it by herself. I wrote it by myself. And then we got on the podcast and we both read our letters to ourselves. And I got to tell you, it was emotional. It was healing. It lifted us up. It also brought us back to the sadness, but not in a negative way, but more like, look where I'm at now. Look how far I've come. Right. And so it's definitely, I invite, and I would say you would say the same. I invite anybody that's around our age or even the 30-year-olds can write when they're a teenager. You could write a letter to your younger self because it helps in confidence and the healing. And it also helps in validating you that, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay.
I
And
love.
I think that's beautiful that you did that. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you. I need to go back to that podcast and watch.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely in there. And, when I wrote it, I cried. And I cried emotional tears, healing tears all over again, but then proud of myself tears, right? So moving to California, because we were talking about that, for you, it wasn't just a move, it was a complete transformation. What would you say was the hardest part of becoming an immigrant?
You are right. California wasn't just changing that; it was just a starting completely new, completely. And the hardest thing of becoming an immigrant was learning how to belong again and learn that the new system, new culture, and sometimes a new version of who you are yourself. So I missed my family, I missed the language and the comfort of being understood without even explaining yourself. But slowly I learned how to start all over again. When I came, I was pregnant with my first baby, 3 months pregnant. So I have to prepare myself for that. So I start really said, oh, you have to be strong. Either you choose to sit and as if you're rocking yourself in a rocking chair, so everything change around you, but not you, or you take a commitment to yourself and start really change. So I start finding meaningful to my life and moment that I can share and be proud to share with my kids later on. So
Yeah, I kind of understand. My dad met my mom. My mom's Japanese, and my dad met her in Okinawa when he was in the military. My older sister and I were born in Okinawa, and we spoke fluent Japanese. And we were really young, and we came to the States. And I remember learning English, and my mom had to learn English and get her citizenship. But I remember at a very young age feeling displaced, not comfortable, and then watching people treat my mom a certain way. That was the hardest thing for me was to watch people treat my mom. This was in early 70s, and they were not very kind. And it broke my heart to see that at a very young age. And love is love. Love is enough for everybody. We should be kind first and
you're
understand
right.
and learn. Yeah.
You're right. Back then I used to feel the same, like the way you feel exactly. I know where you come from. But now I give excuses to people because we are always against any change. Any change will shake us from inside. So I give people a, a time to understand, a time to breathe, a time to understand me before they judge me for what I dressed or my accent, or for me being different with name that people till now slaughter my name. They don't know how to pronounce my we
Yeah.
have
Before the podcast, everybody, I wanted to make sure I had her Wafaa, her name right. I was not right when I pronounced it. So I'm so glad that we talked about that, right? But you are being kind and gentle and you understand that people that want to try and learn will learn, right? And they will ask, right? It's a
true.
polite thing to do, and it's polite both ways, right? I love that. What advice would you give women who find themselves rebuilding their lives after a major life change?
Uh, that's one I talk to myself before anybody else. I say, do not be afraid of starting again. Starting again does not mean that you failed. It means that God is opening you a new door to discover yourself. Take step by step, heal, learn, work hard, cry even. And sometimes I tell people, please, when they cry, I say, go and get some ice cream, even unhealthy stuff. It doesn't matter, but just get out of this and don't be scared. Uh, Healing process takes many sometimes uh, unexpected direction, sometimes unexplainable things, and sometimes silly things. Laugh about when you fall down and stand up again. Make sure you stand up again. Make sure that you have a goal. Without a goal, you are a loss. Without life, you are just a refugee. So try to find your compass and try to find a person to lean on and continue on your path.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. Now, I want to switch up a little bit into reinvention and finding a purpose segment. You went from language arts to engineering, education to holistic wellness. How did you find the courage to keep reinventing yourself?
Should I tell you the truth?
Yes,
For me,
please. I would only want the truth.
I tried to open the door open and I am there. I have to face things. What really pulled me through is face and the face and necessity. So I am a good observer of emotions, and I love always had like I shared with you in the beginning. I love to understand people most, and so I listen to emotions carefully. I listen to myself and the new message that I get every time. So every stage in my life taught me something. Like let's say language art, it taught me how to express myself and deal with people. Um, Engineering taught me structure, problem solving, and the love of always trying and challenging and teasing your mind. Holistic wellness, which is like the huge door open to me. It really said, instead of looking outside, look inside. You have your body, you have your soul, you have your emotion. You have to take care of all of those. but what really connects all of those? And I find is not the thoughts build from who you are. Who you are is your blood. How can you take care of your blood? There's many things, not only food, people around you, uh, the path you choose for yourself. So it could be even the dog that's around you. It could be the mic. It's a therapy. Everything can connect you to. So it's not every part in my life and each stage that I went to, I consider it as a trophy and a stage or a stage where I learned something, or I did like a play for myself to get to be the hero and act all the acts in the play.
Well, that's wonderful. She's my co-host and I, we talk a lot about mindset. Mindset is, as hard as it can be on a daily basis, you have to find a healthy mindset. And for me, I practice gratitude daily, and I also my gratitude extends out onto a journal in the morning, but at night it also extends out to like what I like to call magic, and I not true magic show, but like magic, and I find doses of magic I had throughout the day. And even if it was a rough day, I want to find anything that's magic that I had that day and put it in my journal. So I wake up to gratitude. I go to sleep at night with magic. And so I wake up healthy. I go to sleep healthy mindset. Right. And the more I practice that, and it's something I do every day, it's pretty much like my church, spiritual church for me and spiritual church for my mind. And I feel that if you keep a healthy mind, your mind is left open for, like you do, open minded, and you're more observant, you're more present, you're mindful, you're open to whatever is coming your way, right? You can actually shift your mind when it's going in another direction. If it's a negative direction, you could pull it back quickly with a healthy mindset. And so I love that you do what you do, and with even all the challenges you have in adjusting into a world that's so different from where you came from, and you're coming here and it's a little vulnerable, but you lean on the healthy vulnerability, right? Because vulnerability isn't a bad thing. Vulnerability is a healthy thing. So I love that you shared that. So thank you.
You nailed it. You
Yeah.
nailed it. So really, this
Yeah.
message, this can be actually a full podcast in itself. What you
Yes.
just,
Oh my
what,
gosh. Yeah. What we're talking about, the mindset thing, right? It's gosh. And mindset for me, I could talk about it all day long. It's such a beautiful thing, to be a healthy mind. You have no idea what you can create in your world when you have a healthy mindset. So choose something that's going to help you get there. It's not going to be something that you could just say, I'm going to be mindful today. And you have to practice it. You have to practice it like you go to the gym. You have to practice it like you're reading and studying something. You have to put effort into it. And it is well worth the payoff for sure. 100%.
I agree.
So, so how do we know when life is calling us towards something new? Because you've done so much. Like, give us some examples of things that have pulled you in your life in a direction that's something new that came positive for you.
I believe that we always call towards something new when you are no longer feel comfortable in your place or staying in that place where you are. Sometimes you feel like that pull in the heart. Sometimes you feel like doors are closed, and sometimes the pain become like very like a big message for people around you. So, like I said, I'm always vigilant to these changes around me, and I like to use this to use it as a tool to help and serve others. So I use what I get as an experience and relay it to people, so to understand them more and help them unlock the pain and live free. We are created as a free creature, and we should live upon that. And it's really interesting. I was just talking to a friend who had just a session with me, and we were talking about the same topic, which is
Wow.
like how to free yourself and how freedom can come. We are created free, so pain is kind of ties for us. How to free yourself from that, and it comes from the mindset. Go back to your point, and how to really understand yourself and serve yourself the best way. So
I love that. I do love that. I can so relate to that too. As many things that have happened, I turn 60 next month. I'll be hitting my golden years. And in my years of life, even in my 50s, every decade in my life, I've learned something new. And I agree with you. Like when you start to feel like a door shut, and some people say, "Why is this happening to me? Nothing ever goes right." That's not the way to handle it. Why are the doors closing here? What is this message to me? Because I believe when doors close, there's another door opening somewhere else, and it's up to you to find that. But you also have to practice healthy mindset and healthy practices to help you with your guide, right? Like a woman, especially women, I'm not saying women are better at this than men. I'm just saying that women have such a strong intuition. And when we can harness that intuition, it's a superpower. It is a superpower.
That,
And the more you listen to it, the better
that
it gets, right? Would you agree?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why in my teaching, in the courses that I teach, especially it's a component about business. When someone start a holistic business or any other business, I like to start with something I call success chart. But
Mm,
actually, it's not success chart. It's the model of managing complex change, and basically
mm,
to have blocks in order for you to call it a success. You have to have a vision. You have to have skills. You have to have incentives. You have to have resources and active plans. And
hmm
each one of those, when it is missing or in the formula of success, your body or your emotions will tend you towards something. So if you feel anxious, that means, let's say, you are missing the skills. So you need to find the right source of the skills. So each emotions or negative emotion would
hmm
direct which block that you need to pay attention to. It's even a formula that anyone can learn, especially we are behavioral creatures.
So now you mentioned your workshop. So you do these sort of workshops for people,
I
correct?
Yes.
That's great. We could talk more about that workshop. In fact, if you want, we could also make sure everybody knows how to find you. If they are curious and want to know more, I'd like for them to be able to reach you and connect with you on that. Because I personally practice a lot of that personally. I mean, it goes back to why this podcast started. It goes back to when I started a cup club with three other girlfriends. It was a support system, it was accountability, it was showing up for each other, it was dedication, it was commitment. It was not just for our personal needs, it was for our families, it was for our careers, it was for giving back to others, philanthropy. It was everything that we committed for 5 years in a row. Every month we did this cup club. We met,
Wow.
we were that committed until some of us had to move away and we couldn't see each other in person. We tried to do it online. It just wasn't the same. But the fact was, we all knew how to do it. It was embedded in us, it was a model that we carried. We still practice it. Each of us do that on our own. And so, you having the tools that you can share, some people that may not have that would be a great resource. So I do recommend people reach out, and we'll give everybody at the end how they can find you. I'll let you go ahead and tell them that at the very end of the podcast.
No
Okay.
problem. Problem. That
Okay. So now, healing beyond physical. Okay. You often say the body is a miracle designed to heal itself. What does that mean to you?
oh, that's all what I do basically, Tony.
Okay.
You
All right.
it's here we go. So the body is a miracle and it's designed to clear and heal itself by itself. That means that God created us in the most complex way, yet with very, very wisdom. And the body is always trying to protect us, repair us, and bring us back to balance. And our has its own language to communicate with us with. So understanding this language will help us reach the goal. So many times in my session, during my session, I make sure that I see people cry. That they have to go through 4 phases in order for
Hmm
this session. They cry. They come with questions. They doubt themselves. They come with a hope, a smile, and sometimes a laugh in their face. My job is to be a compass, is not to take everyone and show them the way or the path. Is my job is to dig deep to the cause root of their problem, whether it's a mental illness, is it a health issues, or even trying to find an identity in life. So I take their hands, I dig deep to the problem, I share it with them with compassion, of course, and simple way to understand, tell them what they need, and then let them enjoy their journey. And
Wow.
you would be surprised when you see people are doing even beyond they expect they can do.
So it's sort of like I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you kind of help people through, well, obviously your holistic healing, but it's through like they might have like a mental block that they have.
Whenever we have any sickness an emotion, as a negative emotion. You feel the best when that organ is working well. When it is, then this is when you see the negative and the passive talk would start. So I pay attention. I dissect each few statements that my client would come and say to me.
Okay. Wow. Let's talk about this. What first attracted you to the holistic healing and eventually what led you to creating the Healing Touch Academy, your business?
That's a yeah, it's a sad story that turned
Oh,
a
hopefully,
blessing.
well, probably sad, but it got you to a happy
Yeah,
beginning, I would say.
yeah,
Would you be open to sharing that?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That turned to be a blessing in the disguise. Basically, when I came here, like I said, 3 months pregnant was my first baby. Coming from Egypt was they considered the third world. Coming here to America, you trust the system, you trust the medical field, you trust everything. So when my baby turned 4.5, she got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Back then, my daughter is almost 26 years old now. When this happened, I asked the doctor when we were at the hospital, is it sugar that caused this? They said no. Is it food? They said no. Is it medicine? They said no. I said, what caused this? They said, we don't know. So I said,
Wow.
I stomped my feet in the hospital and I said, I'm not leaving until someone smart enough come and talk to me.
Hmm.
Most of people would stay over there for a night or two and then they leave. We stayed over there for 10 days. And
Wow. You were wanting to make sure you left with answers.
not that way at all. What happened there was like a malpractice. They were
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and because and you see me with my scarf, so people like
Hmm.
ask, "What do you give my daughter? What kind of?" Back then, at that time, if you look back like 10 years ago, no one would even care to look at the nutrition facts behind the food or anything. I
Hmm.
was curious because I came from a background of education. Both of my parents are engineers. I was myself. So I used to read this stuff. So when I asked, they used to undermine me. Why she's asking? We're doing our job. We're giving the insulin. We're doing all of these stuff. So until I caught them doing it the wrong way, and then that deteriorates my daughter, and we stayed for all that long. So when I caught them, the doctor came apologizing, and I told her, "Look, you think that this is covering my mind? It's not. It's just covering my head. I am a normal person like you, and I deserve all the answer to all my questions." So she took me apologizing and tried to make things better, and I took it from there. I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna trust anybody. I have to trust myself." This is when I kept looking for and searching for truth. In my belief, in my religion, we believe that any disease got a cure on earth. If you find it, you're gonna get cured. If not, you need to keep searching for it. So I, as my mantra every day, so everybody would sleep and I still be awake looking for an answer. Internet was very lame at that time. You remember the AOL
Yeah.
and
Yes.
all of
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my
I belong to
gosh.
that era, yeah. So
Yeah.
that and to make the story short, and I used to buy, by the way, the food. Once I went home, I threw all the food in the pantry, in the kitchen, in the refrigerator, and my kids start to cry. And then I go to the store buying the same food again. I said, "This has to end." This is when I started
Yeah.
asking God to guide me to the right way. And there I said, "Oh, there must be a reason I am in this situation. It's bigger than what I can handle, but with God's help, I can do it." So I saw I saw that people are more than symptoms. People are not just a headache or back pain or stress or illnesses. There is a whole story behind that body. And I wanted to understand the root cause of this. So I don't get the problem from the surface. I always have passion to slowly grow into healing, which is become at the end the healing touch. So all what I believe, I bring just the touch of healing and let people unlock the rest.
That's sort of like a mental and emotional guidance. I want to try to understand it more. It's amazing. It's got me curious, you know? So what's one misconception about wellness or healing that you'd love people to rethink?
Uh, I love people to know the idea, and it's actually taking the country by storm now. It's either you find them that way to the extreme or that way. So the idea of wellness is not about looking healthy from outside. It's about um, the outside is just a mirror of what's happening inside. So it's not about how your skin look or what's your weight or what's your appearance. It's about the inner, it's about the emotional balance. It's about the fatigue or the face and the digestion you have. So it's everything. It's who you are, basically. So appearance has to match the reality. So appearance has to be matching with what's going on inside. So take care of your body, take care of your emotional health and your spirit as well.
Mind, body, and soul, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go down to motherhood and legacy. You described your children as the crown you earned through your journey. Tell us about that.
Because of my daughter, I switched career. I switched gear, like they said. So I started with macrobiotic, learning different stuff. So my kids are the beautiful product of my journey. They are the greatest blessing that was given and the best achievement that was I earned through life. They are as a cultural person, very cultural. I see that family is the center core of everything, and raising a kid is the most amazing thing you can provide to the society. Raising them with a challenge, with a purpose in life is very important. So I consider every sacrifice I did, each wrinkle that shows in my face, and each line in my body as a mark earned during being a mom, every sleepless night and every hard season that I become worse of that when I look at them, that really wipes all that pain away and make me more proud and more happy that God gratefully gave me that gift.
That's really beautiful. I was going to ask you, what has motherhood taught you about yourself?
Oh, a lot of stuff is honestly, that's basically, this is when I start being a person. I feel like a complete person. So I thought that I wanted to have in the beginning, I wanted to have a village full of kids, not only just one or two or three like I have now. So after the first kid, that's shifted a little. And I said, Wafa, let's quality over quantity. So I said, it's better to provide the right resource for your kids and bring them, provide the right essence of life to them, better than having lots of kids that you cannot really uh, give them the full attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it taught me patience, it taught me sacrifice, unconditional, and how to keep really going on while even I am tired.
That's great. As a mother of adult children, what wisdom would you give the younger moms out there?
There's a lot to give and tell to the mothers at that time. Pick your battle. This is the first thing. There's
Yes.
you wanted to give to your kids in just in a bullet point in a small period of time, forgetting that it's naturally will they are watching you and they are like a sponge. They learn from you, and by the way, they learn most from you when you fall and you stand up again. Kids don't like to see weak people because life doesn't recognize people. If you look at the history, you would never hear about weak people. You only hear a strong one. So you have to show them the model, but also be easy on yourself. Like you mentioned before, you have to show ability and be ready to reach yourself again.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Who are some of the women who helped shape your story, and what impact did that have on your life?
Well, there's too many women, and honestly, I consider all of them legends. Some were family, some were friends, some teachers, and some women that I met through the healing work. And it captured me that we are in the same frequency. Tony, when you mentioned that the women that give hand to hand and make a woman rise, we pray for each other. We really open doors for each other, and we lift each other.
Hmm.
So we have faith on each other. So that's the best quality I think a woman should have, and no woman would be left alone.
Yeah, I love that advice. I stand by that advice and I live and breathe that advice. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. In closing, I have a couple more questions here. If you could sit down with your younger self and share one piece of wisdom, what would you tell her?
Don't be afraid. Do one thing every day that scares you. Rumi once said that defining fear, it is the non-acceptance of uncertainty. If we accept the uncertainty, it becomes adventure. We tend to best when we turn fear into adventure. You are stronger than more what you think. And God will be there for you no matter what. So just trust the process and don't be afraid.
Yeah, that's great advice. Because, when we're younger, we do get afraid. I remember countless times in my younger self being afraid to do things and sometimes not doing it and then regretting it later. Right. So that's really good, sound advice. We're at Who's Sitting at Your Table platform. So, who's sitting at your table today and what have they taught you about your life?
So my children, of course, my family, parents, my sisters, my students, my clients, and even women that believe in healing, faith, and growth. All those are each one taught me something different. Like my kids, unconditional love. My parents are the support. Students, like knowledge is really pleasant when you share it with others. My clients, man, I learned a lot from them. And the most important lesson I learned from my clients, each one has a story that always we cannot see. So always each one come from a different path and you still gonna discover this, but you just need to show patience. And for women, they taught me support each other and we all rise together.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Was there ever a moment when you questioned yourself, your path, or whether you were strong enough to keep going and what got you through it?
It's always going on. That
I agree with you. It's always something like that going on with me too. Go ahead and
yeah,
share. Yeah.
I always question myself, and those moments are always happening. And you know that this is the beginning always of a new chapter. Am I strong enough? Am I doing it right? Should I keep on my road, or I am hesitant about it? Do I do the right thing, or should I change paths? But this, all of those you have to overcome with the yeah, you carry responsibility, and that you are always a leader in what you do, even with mistakes. Accept vulnerability, and you will open places.
Yeah. And this goes back to when I was talking earlier about our intuition. So, listen, we only learn as we fail, and failure is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing because it's one step closer to your goal because you're going to go another direction. I like to use the word pivot. Cheese and I do. We say that a lot, and it's kind of a funny little joke between us because I don't know if you ever watched the show Friends, and where they're trying to carry the couch upstairs, and there's pivot, pivot. Well, we laugh about that, but really, if something's not working, you're going to have to shift another direction. But back to the intuition side of it, I feel harnessing your intuition, trusting in it, being open to it, not being afraid, even when you are afraid. Because when you are uncomfortable and afraid, that's when you are going to be learning more about yourself. Right. Back to the intuition part of things, harnessing your intuition. The more you practice it, the more comfortable you're going to get. Bottom line is where I've learned a lot, Wafaa, is when I sit still and my mind drifts in different directions, you have the answer. Whether you know it or not, you have the answer. And when you start to open up to your intuition, allow yourself to guide yourself, you will find the answer. Some of it may not be very fun, exciting, or scary at first, but eventually you'll get through it. Don't forget your superpower is your intuition. It really, truly is. So, Wafaa, how can people find you?
Thank you. It's yeah, I have a website. It's called the Healing Academy. It's Healing Touch Academy.us. And I am on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. I love people. I'm a people person. I love greeting. So if even you know me and recognize me, please don't hesitate to come and say hello. I will share all the information with you. I do holistic and I believe in it. And I hope that I can make a change in anybody's life that I can see. Thank you so much.
That's great. No problem. I'm so glad you were here to join us. And to all our listeners, thank you for pulling up a chair and spending the time with us. If this conversation touched your heart, inspired you, or made you think differently, Please like, follow, share, subscribe, not just to who's sitting at your table, but to Wafe's platforms as well. And share it with somebody who that's sitting at your table. That's what it's all about. Women supporting women. Share it. Even the kings out there. I like to call it the kings, the men at our table, the men that support women. We are so blessed to have you at the table. All right. So as I wrap this up, thank you, Wafaa, again for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find us at Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and Amazon. We're on all the major platforms, and we're also on all the social media platforms. We would love a like, share, and follow. And until then, remember the right people at your table that can change your life. Bye, everybody.